Okay, today's a day that I'm not going into it with an idea of what I want to talk about. So we're gonna talk for a bit and see what emerges. And if nothing emerges, then nothing emerges. So yeah, it's 11:30. I'm noticing a bit of a pattern here. The last few videos have been pretty late in the evening that I've made, and that's mostly because I'm working on stuff. So it's fun, it's exciting, and I'm not too worried about uh, the consistency factor on the YouTube, other than just making a video every day. So I'm still pretty happy with myself. I've made, I think, like 20 something videos. Awesome. In like a month. Yeah, the Nope project is chugging along nicely. We've got 8 songs, like pretty close to being ready for mixing, and then we've got another 4 songs that are further away, but still, like, we've got about a month before we really need to worry about before we're falling behind. So I think we're in a really good place with the project that I've barely talked about on my YouTube. Yeah, I've kind of given up on the being a morning person thing for a bit. These group mentorship calls that I go on, they used to be at 4 a.m., which was late enough and early enough for me to wake up for, but now they're at 3 a.m., which feels more like a time that I need to stay up for. So that's a factor. That's a thing. That's a thing that's happened. I'm curious to see how I go about doing this in the future and after this project is done, because either I'm going to finish this project with Austin and we're going to focus on promo and all that kind of stuff, which can be done kind of during the day or any time really. And I mean, so can making music, but anyway, yeah, we'll focus on that stuff, and I'll go back to sort of waking up for the calls, like at 3 a.m., having a couple days where I wake up extra early, and having the rest of the time waking up at maybe 6, 7 a.m. Or I'll end up becoming a night owl again, and changing my artist calls from 7 a.m. Wednesday to something like, like 5, 6, 7 p.m., which I don't really want to do, because I think the morning is a great time. If I can keep the artist calls in the morning, that will be excellent. That will be really, really good. Just for the culture I want to create in there. It's a horrible angle. Yeah, just for the culture I want to make in the artist calls. I think it'd be great for it to be in the morning. Yeah. What else is going on? On the business front, I'm still serving my first client, teaching them how to make a song. I'm seeing that perfectionism is sort of a key thing that keeps coming up. Finding a way to unravel perfectionism with people is something that I think is really important. Perfectionism and encouraging simplicity, specifically. Those are 2 things that I think I lean on a lot in the production and the making of my music. And in the video I have a video on YouTube that's like an hour long. It's me making a song in an hour. The song that I posted at the end of that video was the product of that hour, with a few extra bits here and there, like afterwards, when some friends came over and heard it. But ultimately it was done pretty quickly. Yeah, that song is now going to be on the project. 1, 2, I think that song is a testament of like what can be done in a very short amount of time, production wise. And I would say it's a pretty enjoyable listen. Obviously there are some things that could be better, all that kind of stuff, but like, given that it was done in an hour, it really doesn't need much, because of the simplicity that was required for the song to exist in the way that it does. I'm really happy with it. I was listening to it again today, and I'm really happy with it. Really happy with just the vibe of it, the production of it, the sound of it, the chord progressions, everything. The lyrics even, which I freestyled. It was great. I definitely want to do that again. I want to do a song in an hour again, because it made for a really cool musical experience. What was I gonna say? Nothing. There was nothing I was gonna say. What do I want to say? Do I need to say anything else? I feel like today might be a bit of a short one, just a life update. I'm still thinking about the concept around the science of artistry, and I've also got another concept that I'm thinking about, which isn't necessarily an original concept, and I guess the science of artistry also isn't an original concept, but this one, there's a book about it called The Different Types of Intelligence. However, that book is not talking about the same types of intelligence that I am talking about. I have a theory that I'm sort of thinking through, which is that there are different sort of personality or brain types, or like intelligence types, and they aren't like musical intelligence, or which is one of the intelligences in this book, or logical intelligence, or things like that, like mathematics. It's not stuff like that. It's artistic intelligence, which is all about being connected to our integrity. Political intelligence, which is being connected to society and social issues. Game intelligence, which is about being connected to power. Games, an interesting one, is systems in a way. It's not quite systems intelligence. Games intelligence is difficult for me to describe because I don't have it as much, but I can recognize it in people. It's the ability to gamify stuff, essentially. It's the ability to be competitive for the growth of everyone. What else? There's two more that I've sort of hypothesized. One, and then there are a couple that are like iffy, I'm not sure about. So one of the iffy ones is sports intelligence, which is different to games intelligence, because I'm thinking about a gamer and then a sports person, like someone who is very, very into sports, and how the types of intelligence that get brought out, and the types of problems that could be solved by those types of people. People that are really into video games have I would say a slightly more, actually, what am I doing? I'm talking about things that I have no idea about, so I'm gonna not do that right now. There's like inklings here. There's feelings, essences that I'm grasping at a bit. So then sports is one. Business, I'm thinking, is potentially another type of intelligence, like entrepreneurial or like financial intelligence, but I'm not sure what to call that yet. It might even be material intelligence, or just intelligence around the world of selling and buying stuff. Then business might also be in game intelligence as well. So actually, business was an example of something that wasn't an intelligence, but something that the intelligences could be used to understand more. The whole point of this intelligence system came from me setting an intention a few years ago, wanting to treat business as an art. So I noticed that I started off my artistic journey as a dancer. My heart was in dance. I wanted to maintain my integrity as a dancer. That was where I wanted to hold true to who I was, and I was I was not very open to being changed in how I pursued dance. So that's what I would consider the artistic intelligence there. And spiritual intelligence, I would say, is potentially one. But that, yeah. Anyway. I moved from dance to comedy, and that's where my artistic sort of lens went to. I saw comedy through the lens of I could be this, I could do this. I changed my persona to be a comedian for a bit. I decided to master comedy, and I saw it I saw the story of me becoming a very successful comedian. And I slightly attached myself to that to see what it would feel like. Then I moved to music, and that's where I committed to pursuing the craft of creating music and mastery in sound production, just making sounds, making sonic experiences for people. That was my next sort of mission. And so in that journey, in that movement that I experienced, I saw an opportunity later on in life to see business as an art form, because one of the things was that I realized I personally need to see what I'm doing as art, otherwise I'm just not going to have a good time. So I just got serious about business for a little bit, but through the lens of art. I was like, the business needs to be art. This needs to be artful to me. So I set an intention to see business as an art, and that's sort of where this has come from. This whole system I've been thinking about, because I see other people see business as a game. I'm like, okay, so that's what works for you, but that doesn't really work for me. I don't see it. It really doesn't work for me to see business as a game, because I don't have that same kind of pull towards playing games in the first place. I just don't care. But I do really care about artfulness, and there's a lot of room for artfulness in business. And then on the other front, someone like a Donald Trump, very politically business savvy, making connections as the main sort of connections and leverage over people as the main kind of use of his intelligence, I would say. That's knowing very little about Trump, by the way, so please don't correct me, because I'm probably wrong. And that's fine. I'm just using him as an example of an archetype, and I'm sure there are people that are a better archetype and a better example, sorry. But yeah, I'm just trying to exemplify a point. I just like using big words. I don't even know if exemplify works there. Anyway, yeah, and this is why I think sports is different to games, because I can see someone seeing business as a sport, as more of like a hunter-prey kind of mentality. That's kind of where I'm seeing like the sports intelligence comes in, is the being the best. Whereas game intelligence doesn't inherently have it being the best. It has a winning sort of element, but many people can win. Many people can win in the games world. Only one person can win in the sports mentality. Unless it's a team, which is different. But ultimately, sports requires there to be a winner and a loser, whereas games requires you to win or not. I'm glad I found that distinction. It's political, sports, games, scientific, that's the one. Science intelligence, there you go. Science and arts. Those are the 5 intelligences that I've thought of so far. Scientific intelligence is around coming up with hypotheses, seeing what needs to be experimented with to be able to test those hypotheses, and then executing on that experimentation and being open to the feedback, and then re-examining the hypothesis. So, and like through the lens of business, you can have scientific intelligence, you can have artistic intelligence, sort of wanting to maintain your integrity. That's a signpost for artistic intelligence for now. I'm finding a better way to talk about that though. You can see business as I'm going to win and these people are going to lose. You can see business as I'm going to win this game and look for signposts of leveling up. That's game intelligence. You can see, all right, I'm going to get in these rooms and talk to these people so that I can then have more options available to me. That is political intelligence. That's so I can make more change. You can see business through all these lenses. You can see a lot of things through all these lenses. So that's why business wouldn't be an intelligence. So music, for example, wouldn't be an intelligence in this system. It would be if you have scientific intelligence, you're sort of creating sound experiments, and that's your in to music. If you have artistic intelligence, you're going to be like personally attached to the journey of being a musician. If you have sports intelligence, you're going to be looking at the charts and you're going to be like, I'm going to get number one. If you have game intelligence, you might be looking at streams and slowly gradually getting higher and higher in the monthly listeners sort of category. If you have political intelligence, you might be looking at social status and what brands you're working with, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of different ways to look at this system. Don't know what I would call it yet, and I don't know if it's already been done before. I don't really care if it's been done before. I'm enjoying the process of thinking about it myself. So that's it for today. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm happy I got this out. This is a cool beginning of a theory. So I'm not gonna call this the intelligence types yet, but I'll call it like intro to intelligence types, maybe. Anyway, bye.